Welcome back to episode 176 of the ATD Baseball Podcast. Opening weekend has come and gone, but baseball is officially underway. We got some things that we want to discuss today, including our teams. I'm sure Kyle and I are very happy right now. Both of our teams are 3-0 to start, and um, I got to say thank you, Kyle, for beating up on the Giants over the weekend. That was beautiful to see. Um,
Absolutely.
But anyways, we got some topics that we want to discuss. We got some extensions. We got some kind of the old guard kind of turning into media personalities. We got some rookies that are getting extensions out of nowhere, and then we'll probably just touch upon our teams and just kind of things that we've seen in this first weekend of Major League Baseball. Um, but before we get into all that, Kyle, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I can't complain one bit. Baseball's officially back. It was a fun week, man. There was a lot of storylines going on that we'll get into, and we got to see both of our teams. You know, you kind of mentioned it. We're two of the five teams remaining that are undefeated. You know, to start 2026. The Marlins in there. That's kind of crazy, but good for them. Extremely excited that baseball is back, man. The Yankees, unfortunately, start a another series against a West Coast team, so I'm gonna be up very late. That's a nine. That's a 9 o'clock start time for me over here.
I
So
was watch the
that's
Dodgers at
fun.
that point.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I'm doing fantastic, man. How are you doing? 9:40, actually. I'm sorry, 9:40. Come on, MLB. You're really screwing us East Coasters out of here. That's nuts. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Yeah. To answer your question, doing fantastic. Fun to be back at Dodger Stadium, man. I know you probably get sick and tired of hearing that, but
Oh
man,
man, never.
it's incredible. It was cool to be back there. Got a couple, we had a couple freeway series. The final week of the spring training had two games against the Angels. Day off Wednesday, watched the Netflix game, and then Thursday was there for the banner ceremony and then the ring ceremony Friday, and it was magnificent, man. And I was thinking about it over the weekend, and kind of weird. I had this Sunday off yesterday, so it felt kind of weird. Like now, I was telling my parents, obviously now all the home games I have to be there. I'm trying to get into a rhythm a little bit of getting back into the swing of things, being at the stadium every night, and then they just slap a day off on a Sunday in between a homestand. I'm not used
Yeah.
to that, but it was great to be back. It was good. It was an emotional weekend, man. I mentioned it on the little video I put out Thursday when I was at the stadium. Celebratory weekend, and that's exactly what it was. The Dodgers got their rings. We got the new pennant flag in center field, and the 2025 banner down the right field line. And it was another reminder that if you can win here in Los Angeles, you're remembered forever. Like it doesn't matter if you're one of the stars like Shohei Ohtani or Mookie Betts or Freddie Freeman, or you're a guy at the end of the bench past his prime like a Miguel Rojas, or you're a guy like Will Klein who prior to the World Series and his magnificent performance in game 3 last year, not a lot of Dodger fans, including myself, really kind of didn't really know who this kid was. And then it was incredible to see all the guys get their rings, especially the guys that were watching in the dugout or in the clubhouse last year. Guys like Tanner Scott, guys like Blake Snell, Roki Sasaki, and I know they were probably very happy for their teammates, but I'm sure selfishly, like, hey, hopefully next year we can be a part of this and get our own little go to get our own rings, and that's exactly what happened. So it was beautiful. I of course Dodgers in those beautiful gold uniforms. I'm wearing the gold hat right now, and it was a great weekend. It was a celebratory weekend, and kind of just reminisce one last time. And once the final out was really once the rings were given out on Friday, that was it. Like, all right, we're done with 2025. We're looking forward to 2026. You kind of heard that with some of the players too after the game. Like, this was nice, this was cool, but we're kind of ready to turn the page and kind of try to go for a three-peat here in 2026. So fun weekend back at Dodger Stadium. It was crazy. It was packed. Of course, it was Will Smith bobblehead Game 7 home run bobblehead night Saturday. That was crazy. And then of course he hits a home run on his birthday as well, 31st birthday, giving the Dodgers the lead and the win. And then like I said, Friday rings, Thursday banner. So it was an incredible special weekend. But happy to be back in the building, and I'll be there 3 more nights this week. We got the Guardians coming into town. We got hoodies tonight, a hoodie giveaway tonight, and we got a Yoshi bobblehead giving out tomorrow because of Yoshinobu Yamamoto. So I'm very excited for that. But um, great to be back at the stadium. Dodgers were off and rolling at 3-0, and I'll at the end I'll touch more about it on my team, just how I'm feeling about it because I do have some things, but it's mostly positive. I know it's like Jesus, man. Here comes the rich kid again, complaining, not complaining that the Dodgers are winning 3-2 instead of 10-2, But um, we'll get into that at the end. But anyways, um, couple of topics here we want to discuss. We got a Nico Horner, Shane uh, buys extensions. We got Clayton Kershaw hired at NBC, and he's now officially like a special assistant for the Dodgers. So that was kind of cool news to hear Friday night. And then we got Mike Trout off to a hot start again, man. That's good to see. Had a couple
Yep.
bombs down there in Houston, so that was cool. Some of the rookies making impacts right away. It's crazy. Like just Murakami, the kid from the Cardinals, man. All these guys are making huge impacts right away, and that's good to see. And then we got Cooper Pratt extension with the Brewers that broke like an hour ago. Hasn't he? I don't even
Mhm.
think he's played a game yet, and he got an 8-year extension. 8-year,
No.
$51 million extension. And then, like I said, things we saw and we'll touch on our teams. But first, we'll do the extensions real quick. Nico Horner, 6 years, $135 million. The Cubs locking down another key piece. Of course, they did that with Picor Armstrong, I believe, the week before opening day, if not the week of. Um, Locking down another key piece of this team, and I like it. I really like it. It's not a crazy contract. It's almost a team friendly contract. It's about right. 6 years, $135 million, and the again Cubs. I saw this tweet from Bob Nightingale over the weekend, and I know he was joking, but I didn't want to look at those comments because I know he's probably getting killed. But he was like, "How come nobody's complaining about the Cubs ruining baseball? Like, look at all this money that they're spending." I know he was half joking, but I'm sure there was a part of him that meant it too. But the
Yeah.
Cubs locking down their key pieces, and they were after when they won the World Series 10 years ago, which is crazy. It's the 10-year anniversary this year of their
Mhm.
World Series win. They had a couple years thereafter where they were competitive, and then they kind of started falling off a little bit, and then they had missed the playoffs in 23, and it was like, all right, where are we going with this? Like kind of was in no man's land. And the last couple years they've been back in the postseason, they've been competitive again, and now they're locking down a lot of their young key pieces, PCA, Nico Horner, and they're spending money. Of course, they got Alex Bregman over the offseason. They signed Dansby Swanson a couple years ago. They brought in Shodi Managa. So the Cubs are doing some good things, and I think they're going to be a really good team this year.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a really good move. I mean, this guy. Listen, I mean, he's already been in the league for 8 years, which is absolutely wild to say. But 8 year career, 21.8 WAR, 740 hits, 36 homers, and a 282 batting average. I mean, you can sign up for that any day of the week. This guy, and he also plays great defense. This guy, I mean, kind of versatile. He plays the middle of the infield, second base, shortstop. Horner is that he's like a super utility, but like
Yeah,
he's got that's the best way I can describe it, right? It's almost like a super utility of like the tools that he has. He's very versatile. He's a guy who just he hits the ball, man, and he seems to come up in those big spots all the time. And he performs, man, and that's what gets you paid in today's league. 6 years, 135 million. You can't complain. I would sign up for that any day of the week. There was a lot of trade rumors going on with Horner and the rest of those guys there for a little bit, but the Cubs shut those down very quickly and said, "Hey, we're here to spend. We're here to lock down this core of guys." And Horner deserves it, man. I mean, he's proved that he can play this game at a high level, and I still don't think we've seen the best of Nico Horner either. Um, you gotta. I mean, he's 28 years old, right? I still think there's a little bit left of his game that we haven't seen yet, and what better place to do it in than than Chicago, man. I mean, especially for Nico Horner. He's very familiar with
he's
the
a
with the
fan
team.
favorite too. It seems like over there.
He is. He is. And that's bread and butter, man. That's exactly what you want in today's league. And Horner deserves it, man. So good for him, good for the Cubs, and yeah, I mean Bob was right, man. The Cubs are spending money, but that's what you want to see. That's great things. PCA extension, Alex Bregman, Imanaga accepting his qualifying offer, and now Horner. And who knows? Maybe this is just the start to get some of those other free agents in there for years ahead. Um, and I love how they didn't let Kyle Tucker leaving in free agency get down on them too much. They were like, "Hey, it's all good. We're we're good over here, and we'll lock down the pieces that we need and go forward." So good for the Cubs.
Absolutely. Shane Buys got a got an extension as well, 5 years, $68 million. Like this as well. Orioles again, they need pitching. That was the one thing that we had mentioned going into this season. It's like, yeah, they're gonna hit a ton. I think their offense will bounce back and be better, but they need pitching. Well, lock down your guys that you have. 5 years, $68 million extension, covering the seasons 2026 through 2030. Very good, $68 million guaranteed, and yeah, so um, another one of these good contracts that I like. He's 26 years old. He still hasn't reached his full potential, but that's fine. He's only 26. He still got still has plenty of time to, you know, get up there and yeah, kind of a core now of this rotation for the Orioles. So I like it.
He is. And I like this move, but it comes at a bit of a shock for me,
Mm-hmm.
right? 5 years, 68 million. Yes, that is a low risk, high reward type of move, but we got to remember what we saw out of Shane Baz. I mean, he was a top prospect with Tampa Bay, and when Tampa Bay called him up, he showed flashes of being that kind of guy, but he hasn't put it together
Yeah.
really. He just hasn't. He's we'll go based off of 2025 because that was the year that he finally pitched over 100 innings. Okay. He finished with 166.1 innings pitched. He pitched to a 4.87 ERA with a 10 and 12 win loss record and a zero point 0.5 war. It's a little tough to get behind a contract coming off of a year like that. But in 2024, smaller sample size, he pitched 80 innings. It was 79.1 to a 3.06 ERA, 2.2 war, 4.3 loss win loss record. That's not a bad season. It's not. But this guy has had problems with injury. He missed the entire 2022 season, I want to say it is, due to injury. And I mean, he is still 26, right? And if this contract was a little bit more, if it went over that 100 million threshold, I'd been like, the hell are they doing here? But the fact that it is that 68 million number for 5 years, that's not bad at all. It's really not. You get a guy in there just to be, do some quick math here. That's 13.6 million a year. You can't beat that in terms of the 2026 market and like the big spending that these teams are doing. Shane Baz, he could probably be a potential if he unlocks his full potential, I could see him being a number 2 in the rotation. He's probably more around that number 4, maybe number 3 if he gives you that. But he's middle of the rotation kind of guy, 2 to 4. Ceiling as a 2, floors of 4 is a floor. I think he can reach that. I do. So overall, I like the extension, 13 million a year for a guy like this. You can't really complain, and I think he has high upside. I really do. But I'll leave you with this. It does shock me that they moved on from Grayson Rodriguez so quickly
Yeah.
and kind of replaced him with Shane Baz when I think Grayson Rodriguez has a higher ceiling than Shane Baz. But nevertheless, 5 years, 68 million. You can't go wrong with a middle of the rotation starter for that price in today's league.
And I guess we'll stay with the extensions here. Cooper
Hmm.
Pratt, one of the prospects for the Brewers. Now, I had to kind of do a double take on it because I'm like, what the hell? Like this
Yeah,
is who's this kid? And
yeah.
hasn't he just made his debut in AAA a couple days ago. He hasn't played a game in the majors yet, and he's getting an 8 year, reportedly 8 year extension worth around 50 something $1 million. So,
51 million. Yep.
$51 million. So, um, I mean, it's not the first time. I think the Brewers have done something like this. I think either once Jackson Churio made his debut, I think they
Yeah.
gave him an extension very quickly after that. So, I mean, again, with teams like the Brewers, these smaller market teams, they kind of have to do that with some of their prospects or some of their
Yeah.
rookies that just come up. But this kid hasn't even made it to the majors yet, and
No.
just looking at some of these things that he's not exactly like one of the top prospects in baseball either. You know,
He
he's
is, yeah, he is number 4 in the Brewers organization,
right.
and he is number 64 for Major League Baseball.
Let's see, he slashed in
I
Double A
believe.
last year. He hit 238, um, 343, and 348,
Hmm.
and he just cracked the Triple A roster this year. So, hey, man, I mean, listen, I'm not gonna. The Brewers are one of these organizations. They know what they're doing. I'm not questioning them, but kind of caught me off guard a little bit here with this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, this one, I was looking up his stats because again, like when I posted that on Instagram, I was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" You know. But um, after reading a little bit about him, the Brewers are high on him, man.
Yeah,
I mean, he's the number 4 prospect in their organization, and like you said, these kind of prospect contracts are becoming more and more popular within smaller market teams, and the Brewers did it with Jackson Cheria, and the Braves have done it a few times. That's an Atlanta sticks out to me a lot. But when I look at the when I look at the stats, yes, he has not. I mean, just yeah, the kid's 21 years old. You know, I
yeah,
mean, he hasn't really played above Double A ball except for his 3 games in Triple A. But I don't know. The stats kind of throw me off a little bit. 238 average. He only hit 8 home runs, and it was a full season, man. It was
yeah,
120 games that he played. So it's not like this was a small sample size. Like he had a full year at Triple A. I'm sorry, at Double A. I don't know. But again, the Brewers know what they're doing, so maybe I'll put my foot in my own mouth in a few years when I see this kid absolutely destroying it up in the majors. But hey, 50 million for 8 years. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. That's another one of those contracts that's low risk, high reward, and yeah, that's $6.3 million a year. Hey, I'll take that. But in
yeah.
baseball terms, that's cheap. That's doing this kid dirty. But hey, we'll see what happens. Good for him. But yeah, good for the Brewers.
Yeah, I mean, what's he gonna do? Not take it? He's just starting
Yeah,
Dub Triple A. Like, what's he gonna do? Not take it? Like, nah, it's all right.
yeah,
Um, Clayton Kershaw. It was announced. Of course, he was in at Dodger Stadium in LA over the weekend for, of course, getting his ring and being part of NBC's coverage. Now he's now on our side, the media side. So that's
yeah,
very interesting. But he also got hired as a special assistant for the Dodgers over the weekend. It was announced, I believe, on Friday, and I don't know what it consists of. I don't know what he's gonna do, but we always kind of see this with some of the legends of these organizations. Like they're not gonna give you, because obviously it was weird to me that he took it, because I think they offered him a front office position after the season, and then he said no. So
hmm
I kind of don't know what changed. Maybe it's not that big of a role with this special assistant type of thing. Um, once Kershaw retired, it didn't sound like he wanted to be, exactly at spring training the following year, and he wanted to be at Dodger Stadium every single night. So I'm kind of taken aback by this. I don't think he's gonna be there every day, but I don't even know what this job consists of. But nevertheless, you keep one of your greats in your organization, and he said it himself that if there's any way I can help this team, I'm more than happy to do it, because obviously he's not playing anymore. But um, maybe Kershaw's not just gonna go disappear into the night like I thought he was last year, because that
hmm
was one of the things I was afraid of. Yes, he's been here for almost 2 decades, but at the end of the day, like his family lives in Arlington, Texas. Like they have a house out there. They live their lives out there. Their kids go to school out there. So there was a part of me that was like, and I hope it doesn't happen. And honestly, the jury's still out. But I was hoping Kershaw wouldn't just disappear.
hmm
Like I don't listen, and I know he's got 5 kids now, including a newborn. So he doesn't. I'm sure he doesn't have time to be there every weekend, and I don't think he wants to be. But I was hoping that Kershaw didn't just disappear into the light, into the sunset, and we would never see him again. So I'm glad that
Mhm.
he's doing the TV here. I mean, I don't think he's gonna do it anytime soon. I think his next assignment is not until that it's not till August, I think, or something like that. However it works, but nevertheless, I'm happy that the Dodgers are keeping him in the organization, and I'm glad you put this at as one of the topics because it was so weird seeing Clayton Kershaw not in uniform over the
Yeah.
weekend. Because obviously Thursday he was working the game. He was like the sideline analyst for NBC, which he did a tremendous job. But it was so weird when he was on the field. He was in a suit. He was in a
Slacks.
he was in a full on slacks. He had dress shoes. He had a jacket. It felt so weird seeing Clayton Kershaw not in spikes, not with a hat on. Pretty
Mhm.
clean cut. Usually
Mhm.
by the end, Kershaw likes to have his beard pretty long, and usually when he's playing. So I think honestly that on Thursday it was the first time where I'm like, holy shit, like he's
Yeah.
really not coming back. Like this is it. He's done because they won the World Series. We saw him at the parade. Um, and then he came back for WBC with Team USA. He didn't pitch, but he was still in the bullpen with with the hat on, with a hoodie. Like he was in gear. He just didn't have his spikes on. But,
Mhm.
um, but seeing him in full on casual or business attire, it was kind of weird. It was a little weird seeing that over the weekend. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It was weird for me too, man. When I saw him come out and he was in slacks and exactly what you just described, I was like, dude, like this is insane. But it also did take me back to my childhood. It because listen, I'm not a Dodger fan. That's obviously very known. But that doesn't mean that I didn't appreciate
Right.
watching Clayton Kershaw pitch, you know? And he's been a mainstay in my life, whether I liked it or not, for years, dude. I mean, same with you, obviously not on that level, but Clayton Kershaw has just been a name that I've used for years, dude. And seeing him come out like that, it was wild. But I want people to take this special assistant title with a grain of salt because, like you said, he didn't want a front office position. He wants to be home. He has 5 kids, dude. He wants to be that dad and husband that a lot of major league players want to be after their playing careers are over. You know, we hear it all the time. There's so many people or so many players that speak on their wives and their significant others being such a big part and kind of holding down the fort at home while they're living out their childhood dream. And I'm sure Kershaw is one of those guys where it's like, dude, my wife has done enough over these years. I want to be home. I want to be involved. I want to be probably coaching their son's T-ball team or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, he wants to do that. So the fact that he turned down the front office job and now is a special assistant, that makes me think like, hey, when there's like old timer days or with the Yankees and that's what I'm going towards. Like when there's days like that where maybe like you come in and you motivate the guys a little bit. Like that's probably what his role entails. Um but nevertheless, the Dodgers are keeping a guy around he's not only a franchise legend, but he's a baseball legend. He's a legend of the game. Just go look at his baseball reference page and you can tell exactly what kind of player he was. He is that kind of guy who was just a household name for so many years. And the fact that he stays within the organization is gigantic for baseball. I could depending on how he is, I feel like Clayton Kershaw 10, 15, 20 years down the road, I feel like he'd be a phenomenal pitching coach. Even if it's just for like a Team USA or something where he's out there in the bullpen, kind of like how Andy Pettit was. I could see something like that. And I hope it happens one day. But for now, enjoy your retirement, Kershaw. It is well deserved. You've done enough for this game, and now you can let the younger guys take over. And but no, man, it was weird seeing him come out like that. That was kind of shook me to my core a little bit. I'm like, dude, I'm getting fucking old, man.
How do you think I
you know,
feel? Being from LA,
exactly.
Kershaw's been in all like I tell you, this is the first time in my
Yeah,
life where the Dodgers are opening up a season and Kershaw's not on the roster.
it's wild, man. It's crazy. It really is. But you know what? It's well deserved. He's put his time in, and now he gets to enjoy retirement. So happy for Kershaw, and obviously happy for the Dodgers that they retained him
Yeah.
in the organization. That's huge, man. Absolutely huge. Just speaking on my Yankees, like I see the kind of reaction that they get when Andy Pettitte comes back, Jorge Posada, Derek Jeter, those type of guys. Um, it's a wave, man. And now that we're getting older, the it's going to mean a little bit more to us when we see these guys come back, because it is the Kershaws of the world now, where we grew up with them, and yeah, dude, it's crazy. But congrats to Kershaw, man.
Speaking of guys that have done their time, how about Mike Trout getting off to a good start in 2026? Hit a couple home runs in Houston. I think the Angels ended up splitting a series with the Astros. I believe they played all 4 days, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. So we'll get into this later, but some of the schedule was weird um, with some of these guys playing and stuff. But um, Mike Trout is currently hitting 462. Now, listen, that's not gonna last all season, but it was nice because obviously, and it's kind of sad, honestly, because usually for like the last 10 almost 15 years, it's like you go into opening day and it's like, all right, everybody has their eyes on Mike Trout. Like, what's he gonna do? Is he gonna have a good season? Is he gonna win MVP? Is he gonna be contending for MVP? That hasn't been the case the last couple seasons. The focus has been, with Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge and Paul Skeens and all these different players. And you go in the pecking order, and Mike Trout's not. He's not on the front cover of the headlines anymore.
Mhm.
And so to see him turn back the clock a little bit and have a good series against the Astros, including a home run on opening day. Listen, man, I know I dump on the Angels, and believe me, I will when they deserve to. But it was cool seeing Mike Trout kind of have a good weekend, have a really good weekend, and hopefully, he can stay healthy. Because if he can stay healthy, he can have a good season and help the Angels win some games here.
I'm I'm gonna say this. If there is one thing in Major League Baseball that I want to see outside of the Yankees finally winning another World Series championship and Aaron Judge getting all of his glory with the MVPs and the fucking, and the October time, the other thing that I want to see that's highest on my list is Mike Trout, a fully healthy season at his potential. Because listen, man, this game this game is not true baseball in our generation. I'll leave it at that. Without Mike Trout. Okay. Mike Trout was the guy who we grew up with, saying, this is your generation's Barry Bonds, Willie Mays, that type of thing. You need to appreciate what you're seeing. And that was instilled in me at a very young age. And the fact that Mike Trout is finally, after these last few years of injury riddled seasons, the Angels not living up to potential, and just him not playing to his full potential, it is a it's a breath of fresh air that we get to see the weekend that Mike Trout just had. Because dude, I can't tell you, I need it like I need air. I need Mike Trout to have a phenomenal season. I made a post about it a couple days ago when Trout was being talked about in the headlines, again on Twitter, everything else. I need him to have a phenomenal season. Listen, he's projected to hit 268, 362, 390 with a 752 OPS with nope, I'm sorry. That was his spring training. He's projected to bat 236, 344, 446 with a 789 OPS, 23 homers, 56 ribbies, 98 hits. Listen, just looking at his very small sample size, he's at 13 at bats. He has 6 hits, dude. 6 hits. He's batting 462, 3 RBIs, and 2 homers. And he also has a stolen base in there. Listen, man, I want Mike Trout to have such a phenomenal season, and it's amazing to see him finally coming back and starting off the year with the Angels on a high note. Because man, I don't even care if the Angels suck it up for the rest of the year. I
Oh,
want
they
Mike
will.
Trout to
Believe me.
contend. I want Mike Trout to contend for another AL MVP. I want him and Judge and Bobby Witt Jr. to go back to back to back, and sorry, and J Ram, I'll put him in there. I want these guys to have a phenomenal season and have that MVP race right up until the end of the year. Obviously, I want Judge coming out on top, don't get me wrong. But I want Mike Trout finishing top three in MVP. I think he can do it. I'm sorry, I think he can. I think Mike Trout in 2026 can finish top three in American League MVP voting if he continues this. I think he can because he showed that he can do it before. He just needs to stay healthy and do what we know he can. That's what I'm saying, man. And I'm it's so nice to see him have a phenomenal weekend, and I hope and pray that he builds on this for the Angels' sake and for his sake. And baseball's sake, man, all of our sakes. Come on now. We want this guy to have a phenomenal season. I'm sorry. I'm buying into it. I want it.
Nothing wrong with that. That's why it's a long season. But
Absolutely.
hopefully,
And
I
I
just hope he stays healthy. I just hope he
absolutely,
stays
man.
healthy. That's all I want.
Hopefully, hopefully we can do like a like a Mike Trout tracker towards the middle to
That'd
the
be
end of the
fun.
season.
That'd be fun to
It
do.
would be. Just maybe like, a minute and a half kind of topic in the podcast, just keeping up with Mike Trout and what kind of season he's having.
All right, we're gonna mix these things together. Things we saw during this first weekend of the season. The floor is yours, Kyle. You can anything that kind of caught your attention, whether your team, other teams, the broadcast, whatever. If
Yeah. I will keep the Yankees and Dodgers for the end,
Yep,
so I won't
that's
touch on my
fine.
team yet. Um, I have one word, and that is rookies. Dude, what are we doing here? This is beautiful. I love this. Dude, and not to mention, I will pat myself on the back. So far, it is only a week, but Kevin McGonigal looks like a damn good AL Rookie of the Year pick. This kid
So
just
does
came out after
Murakami, that my pick
he does,
in the American
man.
League.
He does. Dude, these two are absolutely tearing it up. I believe I don't have stats in front of me. I should have, but Murakami, I believe he has two homers now. Okamoto up in Toronto,
Yeah, he
he's
hit his
been
first yesterday.
yep. Um, man, Carson Bench for the
He got his
Mets.
first home run. I think it was
Yep,
his first hit was a home run. If not, he
yep,
homered in the first game. But
yep. And then Kevin McGonigal,
JJ
he had
Witherholt had a walk off over the weekend.
yeah. Kevin McGonigal, I think he had a 4-hit game, dude. That's wild. Absolutely wild. He had two doubles and I believe a homer in there, something like that. Yeah, dude, it's just been it's been so cool to see. Like opening day rolls around, opening week rolls around, and we're looking at the guys like Otani, Trout,
Rightfully so.
Judge, yeah, Lindor, Soto, Harper, Schwarber. You could probably put in there now. We're just Paul Skeens, Bobby Wood Jr. The list goes on. We tend to forget these storylines of the rookies being called up over the offseason in spring training,
Yep.
the guys who make the
Make the
team,
team.
like a Carson Bench. Um, we tend to forget about that. And I had a phenomenal time. And oh, you can add Justin Crawford into that too.
Yeah.
I had a phenomenal time posting that I believe it was Saturday. Yeah, because the Yankees were off. I had a phenomenal time posting all about the rookies who were going off. I mean, I felt like I was posting things back to back with the way that these guys were just producing right away, and it was so cool to see. So I think that's my main takeaway from the first week of baseball, man, is excluding the Yankees, is these rookies are just phenomenal. And I hope this continues, man. I really do. Maybe we see more extensions coming up for these rookies. But hey, this rookie of the year race in 2026 might not be as like depleting as it's been in past years, where you kind of have to like look
Talk
up like
yourself into one.
yeah, you got to talk yourself into one. You kind of have to look back and see like, okay, well, what did he do? And then, look up the stats and say, oh, well, yeah, I'll pick him, I guess, for rookie of the year. No, dude, these are going to be household names if they continue this. These are going to be names that that we are going to be repeating time and time again. You know, these are guys that we're going to make posts about on Instagram and all the other socials. You know, and it's really cool to see. That's my main takeaway from this week is these rookies are just hitting that ball like crazy, man, and it's so cool to see.
Absolutely, and Alex Freeland too with the Dodgers. You know, he a lot of Dodger fans were upset that he made the team over Haesung Kim because Haesung Kim had a good spring, but then a
Hmm.
good start to the spring, and then he went to the WBC, struggled there, and then came back, and then he struggled the rest of the way through. And people were upset that Alex Freeland made the team because he basically struggled the entire spring. And what does
Yeah,
he do in his first start in his first at bat on Friday? Gets a home run to give the Dodgers to cut the D-backs deficit in half. So yes, definitely that. And I guess here comes negative Nancy over here, but I'll be negative. I don't understand, and I think this is the second year that they've done this. Not with the opening night, but I just don't understand the schedule this past weekend. I was
yeah,
disappointed in the schedule. I understand that Netflix paid a shit ton of money for the Yankees Giants game Wednesday night, and that makes sense. If you're gonna pay all that money, they probably wanted a standalone game. Hey, we want our own night to kind of debut this, but to not have, first of all, not everybody playing on opening day Thursday. That was a huge problem that I had. And then the Giants, the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Padres, Tigers, none of them were playing on the first Sunday of the regular season.
yeah,
Some of your big market teams with some of your big market players were not playing Sunday. Listen, I understand that everybody wants to be the NFL. I'm saying the NFL because that's clearly the number one sport in this country right now, just in terms of people who watch it and what gets talked about the most on social media. But the NFL does this thing where that first weekend of the season they make a whole thing like the defending champs open up Thursday night, and then last year they put the game in Brazil, and this year they're going to Australia, they're putting a game Friday night, and then there's games Sunday, and then there's two Monday night games. Baseball has to remember that we're not the NFL. Sorry,
hmm,
we're just not. The part of what makes opening day so great is that you have games and everybody's playing all day Thursday or the first day of the season. I'm cool with the opening night the way they did it. I'm fine. I know Netflix paid a ton of money for that, but to not have all your teams playing, the other 28 teams playing Thursday, to me that's a huge drop of the ball and a huge mistake by Major League Baseball. We're in this dead point right now. I understand the NCAA tournament is going on, but baseball and I mean football. I mean, there's no football. Hockey and basketball, everybody's pretty much tired of the regular season. We're just trying to finish these last 10 games here and get to the playoffs. So nobody really cares about the ending of these two seasons. And then you have baseball that pretty much has they have a runway here to kind of own the weekend. And I understand maybe their thinking was, well, let's make it an entire opening weekend. I hope next year, if there is a next year, but um I hope the next opening day go back to the traditional way. Have
yeah,
everybody play the first game of the season. I just I just that kind of bothered me over the weekend. The fact that there was no Dodgers Sunday, there was no Yankees Sunday, there was no Giants, no Padres, and even Friday too. Like I think yeah, because the Yankees played Thursday. They played Wednesday. They had a day off Thursday. They played Friday, Saturday, no Sunday, and then the Mets played Thursday, no Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday. It's just to me, it's just a huge mess. And maybe I'm just getting older, but just losing track of who's playing when. Just
I
keep the normal schedule. I understand too. Weather's probably a huge factor in this as well. Just in case maybe one of these cities gets rained out because I don't know if you were watching the Mets on Friday or over the weekend. It's fucking
hmm,
cold over there. You know,
yeah, man, it's
these
cold
guys
over
are
here.
these Met fans are going in their winter coats. You know,
Yep.
so I get all that, but I just hope next time we go back to the traditional opening day way where everybody plays the same day. You can have games all day, from the morning until late at night. That's all.
Absolutely. No, it makes sense, man. And I mean, well, you said you were watching opening night with the Yankees and Giants. That broadcast, man,
Yeah, that
dude,
wasn't great.
it wasn't, and it kind of goes into everything we're talking about, like with the scheduling, and you can kind of put streaming services in there now too. You, if you don't have like a cable package, right? And it's going to cost you north of $500 a month just to watch all these baseball games. When it comes to Netflix, Peacock, what's some of the other ones? ESPN, MLB TV. We have all of these different
Amazon
streaming.
don't the Yankees have a package with Amazon Prime?
Yeah, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, you can put in there now too. There's so many like different ways, and I feel like if there's a baseball fan who doesn't have Netflix and is like, I my favorite team's the Giants or the Yankees, and I want to watch opening day or opening night. Well, now I got to pay for the subscription, and on top of it, I'm getting a shitty broadcast. Like, dude, what are we doing? So yeah, no, I'm with you on that one.
All right, our teams, both 3-0. I'll start with my Dodgers, then I'll let Kyle go to his Yankees. Uh, Good start, 3-0. The Dodgers trailed in all three games. They were down, I think, 2-0, three straight nights, and came back and won all three games. Um, Again, man, it's there's not much for me to complain about. It's just I know this is kind of it's crazy to say, but it's like all these games are like, like
Yeah.
let's just make sure everybody's in tune and ready to go 6 months from now, which is crazy to say, especially in
Hmm.
a 162 game season. You're not supposed to be like, these games don't mean anything in March and April. It's all good. Like, let me know when the
Hmm.
playoffs start. Like, that's crazy. But that's where we are with this Dodger franchise right now. Don't get me wrong. Love winning opening night, love winning opening day, love taking the series, sweeping, but again, I'm just nothing's gonna excite me really until we get to October. But overall, the Dodgers did what they were supposed to do. The one thing that I'm gonna nitpick here, I want to see this Dodger offense start quicker. That's three straight games where I've seen one, two, three. Shohei, Tucker, and Betts go down in order. I want to see this offense start quicker because I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm scarred because there was a lot of times during the season last year where this offense wasn't doing much, and I feel like they addressed the needs that they needed to this offseason with Tucker. There's no holes in this lineup really, and I'm happy Pa has had a big home run Thursday night to put the Dodgers ahead with a big 3-run shot off of Zach Gallen. I think he's gonna have a monster year this year, but I just want to see this offense start a little quicker. And listen, a 2-0 deficit for this offense is really nothing, and you saw that for three straight nights. They came back and won all three games, including a blowout win, including two blowout wins. Friday, no, including a blowout win on Thursday night, the first game, and then Edwin Diaz coming in there and getting two straight saves Friday and Saturday. Love to see that, but it's hard to complain when your team's 3-0 and you're the defending back-to-back champs. There's really not much you could complain about. But if I had to nitpick something with this team, I just want to see them get started a little earlier. None of this. Yeah, we'll give up 2 runs, 3 runs first, and then let's crawl back into the game the last 4 innings. I don't want to see that. I know the Dodgers are not doing that on purpose, obviously, but I wonder when we're gonna see it because man, like if Shohei, Tucker, Betts, and Friedman are all on at the same time, and you're getting and you get guys like Will Smith, Teoscar Hernandez, Max Muncy doing their part, this team's gonna be unbeatable. It really is. But um, of course, it's only three games in. You're not gonna see it right out of the gates. I was hoping we would, but we still got 159 games to go, so obviously no concerns or no red flags whatsoever. But if I had to nitpick something, just want to see the offense gets going a little faster. And the other thing I'm going to be watching for this series, Roki Sasaki did not have a good spring, including did not have a good last start against the Angels a week ago today. He's making his first start. All I heard from the last couple weeks from Sasaki is that, hey, I'll be good once the regular season starts. Let's see it. Let's see it, because he did not have a good spring. The couple of good starts he had in spring training was against minor leaguers that were not making the major league roster anytime soon. I want to see it. I want to see it because everybody is in love with Roki Sasaki right now, and rightfully so, because he played a huge part in the bullpen in that championship run last year. But if you struggle out of the gates, man, you're gonna have some people that are gonna start getting on you a little bit. So those are the two things I'm watching for. Offense, a little quicker. Roki Sasaki have a good start tonight, and I can't wait. Shohei Ohtani making his season debut pitching on Wednesday. I'm very excited for that. But overall, can't complain. Dodgers are 3-0. They look good. I just want their offense to get going just a little quicker.
All right. Just want to make sure I get the okay. Timestamps are good. Okay. So for the Yankees, this is going to be the one and only podcast episode of the 2026 season that I have no negatives. I don't have a single one. I was trying to find one. I don't have one, dude.
I'll
I
give you a
really don't.
negative. Aaron Judge cost me money Wednesday night. 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts.
That's a personal vendetta.
Yeah, that's
Um,
true.
I will say this. Why I'm not counting that as a positive, or I'm sorry, as a negative, is because the Yankees still won 7-0.
Yeah, exactly.
That is a huge, huge, huge positive, and something that I have been very, very vocal about over the last couple of years and this offseason, because I wanted the Yankees to get that number two to Aaron Judge. And yes, everybody can say, oh, well, you got Cody Bellinger, you have Jazz Chisholm. Yes, but they don't give you that Dodger feel, right? They don't give you the Shohei Ohtani.
Showed it on
And
Wednesday.
then, yeah, yeah. So the fact that the Yankees were able to produce when Aaron Judge did not, and mind you, this was their biggest win, which was 7-0, or yeah, 7-0. That game was started by Max Fried. He pitched phenomenal. That's exactly what you want out of your ace. And then the bullpen, scoreless. Okay, there's one thing that I want you to take note of what I'm talking about here, and it's the bullpen. Okay, next night, Cam Schlittler went out and did exactly what we hoped, continued his dominance. And then he passed it off to the bullpen, scoreless. Okay. Game three, 3-1 victory. Will Warren started that game, got roughed up for a run. Bullpen, scoreless. That is what you need. And that is huge for this Yankees team because listen, I was concerned about the bullpen a little bit. Yes, the back end looks really good. Camilo DeBall, and then it passes off to David Bednar. That's a good 1-2 punch. It's the guys in between, the Tim Hill, the Ryan Yarboroughs, the Brett
Middle
Heathcock, I believe
reliever,
his
the
name.
setup guys.
Yes, it's that middle range that can get a little wonky. But they looked good, man. They really did. Scoreless throughout the entire series. That's what you need. Um, Overall, it's a great series. I don't have much. The Yankees are 3-0. I can't complain. It's going to be the only time I don't have a negative this year for you. And I'll leave it off at this. Aaron Judge made a comment in post game saying that one thing that he talked to the clubhouse about was finishing games. Because if you're a Yankee fan and you're familiar with the Yankees, they are not good at closing out series. They're just not. They'll go up 2-0 in a 3-game series and then they'll fall. And then they'll lose that last game. Oh, well then you can say, "Oh, well at least you won this series." Yeah, but winning the series doesn't always get you to the place that you want, right? I'm not saying the Yankees are going to go 162-0. That's never going to happen. But what I am saying is it needs to be lower percentages that you lose that final game of the series. And when you have a 4-game set, you're not just saying, "Oh, well, we already tied. At the worst, we tie the series." No, you want to try to win those 3 out of 4 games. You want to try to sweep them 4-4. You know, so I think that's a big takeaway for me is the fact that the Yankees closed out the series and are now going into Seattle undefeated, which is it's huge. Because listen, this Seattle team is not the Giants, okay? This Seattle team is going to be tougher. That pitching rotation is really good, the bullpen's really good, and that lineup is really good, as we know. I mean, that's your World Series pick. That's my AL pennant winner. We think that this Mariners team is going to be really good, which they are, and the Yankees are going to have an early season test. And I'm going to see what this Yankees team can do against a team that's going to compete against them in the American League. So, for the fact that you open up a series tonight in Seattle, coming off, coming into the series 3-0 is absolutely huge. And Aaron Judge was right. Listen, you got to close out these games, man. And the fact that they did that was huge. And big takeaway. I honestly think the other than that, the biggest takeaway is the fact that they won 7-0 with Aaron Judge doing shit. That's huge. I can't say that enough. The bottom of this lineup, you're getting production. That is huge. Absolutely huge. And that's what we need to see for the Yankees to be successful in 2026. So, no complaints. I have none. Not even towards Aaron Boone, man. It's pretty cool. It's a good feeling. So it's not going to keep up, but you know what? I'm going to enjoy the little bit of time before the Yankees start uh, their series in Seattle in 4 hours from now. But super stoked, 3-0. I can't complain. It's the beginning of the year. This is exactly what we want. You mentioned it earlier. We have 159 or 158 games to go. 159. That's beautiful. We're at the beginning of the year. Yankees are undefeated. I can't complain.
There you go. All right, well, there's our teams. Unless you got anything else, I think that's gonna do it.
I think that's it, man. First podcast episode of the 2026 regular season. Absolutely stoked, man. Another great year ahead, and yeah, absolutely beautiful. This is the best, dude. This is my favorite time of year. It's our first podcast episode, and the fact that the Dodgers and Yankees are both still undefeated after the first series, I think just makes it that much sweeter. So, super stoked.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I gotta run. Gotta go to the stadium. 3 game series against the Guardians beginning tonight. Uh, yeah. We'll see you in a week. Adios.